Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Space 2. I feel a little bit bad because this game is probably going to end like 10 minutes into the video. I should probably have just either wrapped it in yesterday's video or cut yesterday's video way earlier, but we had good momentum going through yesterday's video, and then I started getting tired, and I was like, I can't keep doing this. The quality of the recording is going to suffer, and has been suffering for nigh on 40 minutes now. So we're not just gonna end if this game ends super quickly, we're just gonna go right into another one. But I do want to lay out my plan here. Not my plan for this game, which is basically just we blow up all the capital systems because for some reason none of them are citadeled. But my plan for the series. So I don't think we're gonna play a ton more Endless Space 2 right now. I think what I want to do is I want to play probably like one or two more games, because I want to dig into this behemoth mechanic a little bit more from the perspective of somebody who doesn't get to start with one. And I would like to see exactly how much longer the internal victory conditions are, so that we can kind of retune our internal pacing clock and have some idea of how well players are doing in the game. Because as it is, I don't know how long it takes to win a science or dust victory right now. I do know that the AI can't do it within 150 turns, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. So we're going to do a couple more of those, and then probably we'll take a little break from Endless Space 2 until the Endless Legends series ends. And then when that happens, we'll pick Endless Space 2 back up, or maybe before that. That Endless Legend series may be a little bit too long for that to be feasible. But there's lots of exciting stuff coming up. I want to make room on the schedule, and I don't want to be putting out 4 videos a day every day. So for now, let's wrap this up, and then we'll see about playing with somebody else. I don't think there's anything else we needed to do this turn, right? We are on the way. We have an obliterator cooling down. We have another obliterator being formed, although honestly I don't know that we need 2 more. We are 3 turns off of arriving on Juyin, and probably not that much further away from Gaikon, although we have to stop, right? Yeah, we have to stop off on Gaikon and grab more troops. Maybe we don't have to, because this fleet still has 8k. Do we need more than 8k? Probably not. We could probably just go straight through. Oh, right. It's not even going to be a traditional conquering, because Vodyani, they have the arcs and stuff. So actually, yeah, we definitely want to go straight through. So 3 turns on that as well. It's looking like we are pretty close to winning. This is going to be 15 turns. I think 15 turns for this to arrive on Ingress, and I think that's what's probably going to end the game. The missile that heads toward Virak may not be necessary, actually. I don't know. We'll see how things go. It might be faster, actually, to take the fleet from Juyin to Virak now that we have so many points of additional fleet movement. Anyway, let's press the button and get into it. Yeah, I'm really curious how behemoths affect gameplay for the factions that have to wait to get them. I like what a huge part of the game they are. Like I like that they're like a really central mechanic, and I want to experience that a little bit more from the other side. Oh, hey. We did this thing. We've acquired the Annihilator Beam, which actually seems really dope. Holy crap. It's a special beam weapon that fires once every phase. Significantly increases the chance for the firing ship to be targeted. Kills a bunch of crew when it hits. Has really high DPS, a decent crit chance. What a weird weapon. This is the kind of stuff, by the way, that I want to see on Legendary Deeds. Really unusual things, the things that there's no analog for anywhere else. I hate it when you get a quest, one of the Legendary Deeds is like, explore 70% of the galaxy, and then the reward is 500 science. Like, make the rewards for that stuff weird. Basically, just make your game weirder. No matter what it is, just make your game weirder. These guys are fresh. Okay, so we should probably keep people moving. This fleet would beat them. If they go down to Mragashi, it might be a little closer. Oh, they actually have Annihilators now, too. I don't think it's going to matter much. They're not going to be able to do enough damage in the amount of time they have left. The Obliterator should probably just stay put. You're pretty safe here. And, like, we are not too worried about building stuff, but also we should be building stuff. There you go. Let's queue up 30 turns worth of production. I'm certain we will not need it. So we want to fire off another Obliterator shot as soon as possible. We're looking at 114 of both of the expensive resources, which I assume are not going to be trivially acquirable. Never mind. There's a huge amount of both of them on the marketplace. So what if I wanted to just buy... that's a lot of dust. 100 Quadrinics is an unacceptable amount of dust. So we're going to have to wait a little while. We're not going to have to wait the full cooldown, but as we build up dust and as our stocks build up, we should be able to take a significant amount of time off the cooldown. Because honestly, the travel speed of the missile to Vaulter territory is probably going to be, at this point, the bottleneck. It's going to take longer for that to happen than it will for the missile that's heading toward Horatio Prime. So it's interesting that we do not see any players with citadels around their home systems. I wonder if in the last game they developed those citadels around their home systems in response to seeing the Obliterators that the Cravers were building. We have another Obliterator, but its gun is going to be even further from charging, so not terribly important. Alright, over here we have an economic behemoth, and their arc... I mean, their arc might just bail, right? It might actually flee. That would be fine. I think they just need to not be in control of this. But if they're not in control of this, I'm going to have to be in control of it. So we might... I'm gonna throw a brood ship into the queue here. In fact, hold on. Let's re-outfit our brood ships. I actually don't have better individual engines. Yeah, never mind. The brood ship is as good as it's getting. We're just going to throw a brood ship into the queue here, just in case. Alright, military behemoth completed. Honestly, we just don't need constructions anymore. We're done with construction. Print me some dust. We sort of don't need research anymore either, but one thing that could be helpful is, yeah, something like this. Increased troop damage. Or, increased missile speed on the Obliterators. Actually, let's reorder those. Yeah, increased missile speed on Obliterators. Totally will speed things up. I assume that you cannot increase the missile speed on the Obliterator missiles that are already in the air, that only affects ones that are fired after you get the tech. Right, that would make sense. Suyu's Salt Cliff has done a fine job. He's really, it's really boosted the effectiveness of his colony. At this point, you can rest, my friend. Alright, so who else needs orders? We have a kite over here that's doing God only knows what. Head that way. Head that way with everybody else. So we don't have guns at all. Yeah, maybe the smart move is to send this now over to Mrigashi. A little closer to the front, but it's also actually defended there. And this fleet is fast enough that we can push that guy off Echius and then just get back to Izar next turn. And I know that I'm, at this point, just wasting K, like we're getting K while we're already capped, but there's not a lot of ways to spend K that are meaningful anymore, and I want to make sure that I'm at the cap in case I have to manually take over Gaikon. I want to be able to hit that brood ship and immediately just buy Gaikon out. For real, everybody's headed to Gaikon. You guys also attack that dude. He was allowed to retreat to Mrigashi because it's in a friendly influence zone, even though it is not a friendly planet. Alright, we're good on that. This Obliterator. Just move closer to places where you might have to fire later. And they're assembling something here. Something fierce. But, like, even if they start taking systems away, I guess we do have to not lose Izar, because it is part of our victory condition. We could blow it up if we have to. If I absolutely must. You probably should get Optimal Operations Expert. That's just, like, a good skill to have on every system. And Dominic here can get us some more influence, and... What? Dimitri, you traitor! Accepting truces.
We doubt you are worthy of our presence.
Wait, do I need to be at war with them right now? I actually don't, right? No, I need to be at war with these two. Yeah, okay, fine. Fine, truce. The missiles are already in the air. I can't do anything about that, and also wouldn't if I could. Okay, so they're on 26 command points. They put together, like, something of an actual large, terrifying fleet here. Let's send another military behemoth up. Yeah, I'm a little worried about that. You know, one thing I'm really interested in finding out is exactly what the value of scientific behemoths is, because we've never used any as this faction, and I don't necessarily think that was wrong. You know, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I'd like to see. So that'll be a thing to focus on maybe in the next game. Look at that, we're almost not even negative on this anymore. Also, we didn't ever actually pick up the last tank upgrade. At this point, I'm not sure I care. I think the 20 resources are more valuable to us as missile fuel. Yeah, that's a lot of manpower. I think we're gonna... Oh, wow. I was about to say, I think we're gonna get through this in like 2 rounds, but okay, I'll take that. Jun has been captured. Did they not draft? No, they drafted and it just didn't matter. It might be the case that their troops are not actually very good. Well, that was cool. We got through this without destroying almost any of their constructions. On Galter, we have constructed another Eagle, which will bolster our northern fleets. Of course, Galactic North. Hey, all that stuff's important. Build all that stuff. So we should go get Psychic Goja, right? For plot reasons. We still have pretty much all of our manpower. We also want to get moving toward Virak. Yeah, because what if we didn't have to fire the second missile? That would be cool. Okay, so how does this work? They, like, anchor the ships now, right? This is a thing that changed, I believe, in the expansion, that Vadyani can now anchor to a system in a way that makes the Ark unattackable, but then you can do a normal invasion. If successful, the Ark will be destroyed and stay as a wreck. You will capture any planet currently exploited. Okay, so we won't need the brood ship. Alright, well, they have fewer manpower points available for defense than a lot of factions we've been fighting. Alright, let them have it. This is embarrassing. This fleet can't even put up enough manpower to do 2 of these blitzes simultaneously. Alright, so we weren't quite able to finish them off because they weren't able to put all of their manpower into a single battle. But that looks pretty resolved to me.
Hey, how's it going?
The Sophonity, you know, you guys are cool. Y'all are good people. I appreciate you. That's what I'm saying to them. So we could go fight... Where's that Eagle that we just produced? Oh, it doesn't have an escort, though. Can you make me one of these fancy taxis real quick? And then we'll have the Eagle head up here. I need to prioritize wormhole tech earlier in more games, I think. We had some serious mobility problems here related to the fact that we could not see the wormholes. That did not need to be the case. I do appreciate, like, they look nervous, right? Oh, hey, that happened. Cool. Okay, so now that, also, now that we know that we aren't going to need the key to settle, we should probably, like, do stuff with it. We're going to take Gaikon here. We're going to occupy Gaikon. So now we are at 3 home systems left. Ingress will be destroyed in 11 turns. No, actually, it's just Ingress and Virak, isn't it? We have to figure out how many people we have to leave here on defense. Oh, also, those taxis are not as fast as they could be. Let's fix that. Also, we gained control over a star system, which totally matters. Okay, Lumeris finally fell out of the game. They want a science agreement? Sure. That's mutually beneficial. That seems like a good thing for people in an alliance together to be doing. What am I doing? Take this. Extra damage. Always extra damage. Although I guess I could have taken extra move speed. Not always extra damage. Always extra move speed, then extra damage. Oh, right. I negotiated... I allowed that truce to stand. So we can't walk over here and just blow this up. We'd have to shoot it with our extremely good missiles. How close are we to that? 108 of each resource? Yeah, it's gotta be faster to just send the ships over, right? I'm just gonna send the ships over.
Careful how you address the first.
Don't even listen to her finishing her threat. Be like, okay, it's war, we'll see you soon. Hang up this phone, hang up the space phone immediately. I don't know what you were gonna say, I'm sure it was important. We will hear you out shortly. Oh, really? You think that it's okay to constrain my movement? Well, let's have some quick words about that. Why is the Eagle in the middle flotilla here? That doesn't make any sense. In fact, we should do this like this. Because this Eagle can hold this side down. Actually, we should do this. Yeah, with this fleet lineup, get lucky probably makes more sense. And they're just gonna run here. Okay, so am I allowed to continue traveling? No, it zeroed out my movement. That's fine, that's fine. So actually, the one Obliterator missile is all we're gonna need. It may take us a little bit... what did I miss? It may take us a little bit longer to get to where we're going than I would like. But we will get there. This brood ship turns out not to be necessary. We're just going to set all these on super lazy auto-governor mode. This is the laziest version of that mode. Should I run over there and punch a hole in that fleet? Probably, right? I don't want them going back to Juyin and recapturing it, so... Let's put some numbers over here. I assume that they will run away from this. We're gonna put in with the kites first. If we lose a fleet, I want it to be this one. Yeah, so we're going to put in with all these kites first, and then bring the Eagles around. Oh, they stood and fought and managed to... Really? They managed to kill a single kite? I mean, probably that was a battle worth watching, actually. That's maybe should have been a watch. Okay, I don't actually feel that we need to push forward, and I don't really... But you know what we should do is we should take this fleet to Juyin to play defense on it. If we lose control of that, it is going to slow our game down. And I mean, at this point, we can truce out with the Vodyani.
Yes. What sacrifice will you now ask of our faithful?
Well, you made all the sacrifices you have to make. Everything's fine. We're cool. I just wanted to own your homeworld.
Soon we will feast.
Actually, I don't want to truce with them because then they're going to, like, close their borders and I'm going to have a hard time moving around. We will eventually get a truce with them. I want to get my ships in position around Julian and get these ships out of Craver space before we do that. Which we're probably only talking about a couple of turns worth of movement here, right? That's true. We are, victory is actually imminent this time. It's a little bit inconvenient that they have so many ships in guard mode in so many places. Are you... See, like, he just runs away. That's not a thing you need to think about. There's no calculations to run on that one. The lone colony ship flees. Okay, so those guys are through the wormhole. As soon as they hit Remor, we're clear on that side, and this is going to be, unfortunately... Oh no, sorry, that's this Positron. Positron can just go to here. I need these guys. It's just 3 turns? Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, we are deep within the influence bubble of all these other Craver systems, but it's fine. It won't be a big deal. So we were creating warships in an awful lot of places. Warships that it turns out are too far from combat to be relevant. We'll just send them to places where they could matter. Alright, 7 turns of movement from there. That's pretty good. Okay, the 2 ships that are left without orders are these behemoths over here. So we should get Virac shortly before this missile makes contact, and that'll be that. So what have we learned this game? First of all, I actually really like this strategy with the manpower modules. I think this was a good addition. They really improved those things. There was very little reason to use them before. Nah. I appreciate the offer, but nah, we're good. You know what's really messed up? This. The fact that we have an immortal emperor who makes all the decisions, but we still make people vote. It would be less screwed up to not have the election, I think, if the election's not going to matter at all. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything really obvious here. On Supremacy, we're showing 8 out of 10. Soon it will be 9 out of 10, and then soon after, 9 out of 9. We've also learned, I think here... sure. We've also learned that it is not necessarily the case that games have to go this long, even with the, even if you are going for a Supremacy victory. Like, Supremacy victories are way, way, way more viable now, instead of just always being much slower than a Conquest victory. It wouldn't have always been much slower, but if you're playing with this many players, it tends to be the case that it's easier to gobble up, 30 systems near you. Must you? Really? Must you do this? Why would you have a scientific behemoth in guard mode here? I mean, I guess it gives them an extra turn of warning for ships approaching the capital, but it's not like they could stop us. Hey, look at that. We got 80 influence and also 250 influence. Yes, at this point, that truce is acceptable to me. Also, I think it's very funny that one of our allies has apparently placed a pirate mark on the Vaulter capital, as though that could have any effect at all at this point in the game. Are there even pirates left? There must be. Ah, yes, there's a single pirate colony on Beertus. Oh, it's level 5, look out. Gonna produce 5 small garbage ships. Whatever shall we do? So the missile's at 7 turns remaining. We are going to keep an eye on this because I do want to see if the number changes when missile velocity is researched. I don't know, man. Listen, take to improving yourself. This is my edict. Okay, so we can run some dudes off. We'll wait here for the rest of our manpower fleet to arrive. And this says 6 turns, so if it says anything less than 5 turns after this, we know that missile velocity does affect missiles that have already been fired, which is a piece of information we may need in a future game. Especially since, as I was saying earlier, like it shouldn't take this long to get to obliterators. We really neglected science through a lot of the game. That could be sped up considerably. Okay, no, it does not affect missiles that are already in the air. That's pretty sensible. Okay, we'll finish this thing off and then drop, and we're probably not looking at... Ooh, wow. They actually have a considerable manpower deployment capacity, and as Vaulters, they're probably pretty good fighters. I don't care about that part. I was trying to look at this treaty.
We despise you more than most.
What? Shows its true colors. I have never been closer to actually, like... Boy, I just do nothing but help. $1360 of 1700. I might fire an obliterator off over here after all. We'll hit its target in 4 turns. I'm a little concerned that this, with them being good fighters naturally, and us not necessarily being able to overwhelm that invasion force quite as quickly as I would like, I wonder if it's worth just hitting them. Here, let's give the troops a shot. We still have the law running. We have all of these great buffs. Get down there and show me we don't need to employ a system-destroying weapon. Oh, okay. Never mind. They totally had that. They extremely had that. I'm actually... Is that through a draft and everything? Wow. Those Vaulters are naturally good fighters. We're just too overwhelmingly powerful now. So now we're pretty much just waiting for this missile to arrive and hoping that we don't see a Citadel suddenly form. Although it looks like the United Empire, or sorry, the Sheridan, as they are now known, have this under control. Just pop in here and make sure this says what we want it to say, 9 out of 10. Boy. We should send a message about not being over there anymore, perhaps? Yeah, just actually ignoring all notifications at this point. Because there's going to be some collateral damage here. Maybe a very small amount of friendly fire You know, the problem here is one of omelets and eggs. And listen, I'm an avian species. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to the subject of eggs. An avian species who apparently eats omelets. So, you know, maybe not the most trustworthy or compassionate of avian species. I guess birds generally eat eggs, right? Oh man, they're just stacking up more and more ships over there. I wonder how long it would take. This might be a thing worth testing in the future games that we were talking about, these next couple of games. Testing how long it actually takes to get to obliterators. Because we definitely could have gotten to it earlier this game. And once you have the obliterator tech, if you're able to get a volley of obliterators off before people realize they need to build citadels, seems like you could really shorten the end of the game. Oh god, there's going to be so many ships there. They're not even invading. They're just sitting there. Oh, and so many of these ships are really damaged as well. None of them are going to survive the hit. Can I signal to them? We have faster than light speed communication, right? Can I just call them and be like, hey, flee. If you start flying now, you may still escape the radius. Out of curiosity, like, seriously, is that a thing I can do? In the communication options, can I be like... Quickly! Defend Leo! Urgent! I'm sorry, you're abducting my population? You know what? Fine, I'm gonna let that fly. Hey, Sheridan. Typing is hard. Over here. That'll probably work. You're right, turn these off. So 22 Sheridan ships in orbit around Ingress. That's true. Ingress's star was destroyed is a strong word. Oh god, they're all dead. Oh boy. Well, sorry about that one. That was a big that was a big move. Listen, some things had to happen. You know, it's war. Nobody's happy in a war. I feel really bad about that, actually. That was very bad. So I think we should now see the victory screen. Yeah, okay. You are victorious. You've done horrible, terrible things on a galactic scale. Because that's who the Hisho are as a people. Just truly monstrous, like, really very pro-atrocity. You know, that video ended up taking, or that win ended up taking a little bit longer than I thought it would. Do we want to start a new game today? Yeah, I think we still probably do. I don't want y'all waiting around to see what the beginning of the new game is like, and then, no, we're gonna bail instead. So, like, let's do somebody whose internal victory is pretty simple. Like, just Sophons, just go straight for the science victory, because I kind of want to see how long it's going to take. Oh, that's right, they released that skin pack today. Okay, yeah, let's play as the Mavros. That's pretty cool. So I believe all of our stuff is normal here. People have asked me a couple of times why I don't turn up the pirate difficulty, because on normal, you can kind of ignore the pirates. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't think the pirates are very interesting as a mechanic. I think, like, turning the pirate difficulty up to endless isn't actually going to make stuff harder for us in a way that like poses a cool challenge. It's just gonna make the early game more tedious. The pirates are... The implementation of the pirates is not, I think, totally ideal. We'll try a game. Like, a bunch of people have asked for this, but I think what we're going to find here is that this makes the early game slightly slower, but not in a way that, like, actually changes our decision-making. Like, we still have to get attack ships pretty early no matter what, because we have to be ready to defend ourselves against other empires. And when we have the attack ships, we will deal with pirates if we have to. Also, I think there's some chance that putting the pirate difficulty up will hinder the AI more than it hinders me, because the AI do not deal with their pirate worlds, and they seem to get distracted very easily. So I guess we haven't played as Sophons yet in this series. We could have watched that cinematic, but the deal with the Sophons. Let's talk about what it is to be a Sophon. So first of all, we have omniscience. A science bonus is given for discovering technologies based on how many players have already researched it. It just reduces the cost of the next research. So you can see here on the tree, every tech is going to have listed below it the omniscience bonus that you get. The more empires that have discovered the thing, the lower the bonus will be until eventually it zeroes out. It zeroes out, I think, when half of the other players have researched the thing. The AI's research path is kind of weird and erratic, and omniscience, I think, is a little bit overpowered in AI matches, because the AI will not block you on a lot of the really important techs. Other stuff. We have the Sophon population unit, which I guess we're going to have to go look at in the population screen. Science, and even more science on cold worlds. And cold worlds are, of course, the ones that already produce science. So that's pretty good. That's a nice little feedback loop. Ships are fast, but infantry are weak. We start with xenobiology, which is totally cool, and rare earth foams, which I think is not a super good one. We can see the location of unexplored adjacent nodes, which is handy for figuring out where you want to explore with your ships in the early game. And we start with a unit of pilgrim citizens, which are also plus science. I think one of the better minor populations, in my opinion. So let's do the standard thing. We're going to apply our hero to the scout fleet, and then do a little bit of scouting, just get an XP boost on this hero. Okay, a planet in our home system has a dense atmosphere and ancient ruins. That's pretty good. That is a pretty good world over there. 41810. Yeah, not bad at all. So we already have this boreal planet, cold and fertile. We can pick up this other boreal planet with some resource deposits on it. And what is our preferred resource is what is this? Jadonics. The pilgrims. Well, I think we all know what that is. You know, the pilgrims enjoy just laying back and having a really chill time. That's their thing. So I think we're going to enact the Cram Exam Act. It's hard to justify not doing this. At the beginning of the game, the amount of approval that you lose from running this act is negligible. It's not going to take you down an approval tier. And the science gain, we are now at 44 science per turn, and 9 of that is coming from the act. Like, the science gain is actually very significant. And, of course, we're going to build ourselves some drone networks to begin with. We have another law slot. We could run the Dirty Hands Act as well, lowering the cost of all of the buildings on the system by 20%, or... yeah, we don't really need dust. I think this is very much worth our 3 influence per turn. Get our initial builds going a little bit faster. And then we can actually pop in here and have a look at our cool ship skins. Yeah, these are pretty neat. It's not super different from the Sophon skins. It's mostly the color scheme, but I like it. Alright, so our scouting ship has 6 move, and so does our hero ship. Oh wow, and our hero ship has room for lots of modules. So why don't we actually just throw a ton of probes on there, right? How expensive is that? That's 120, but that gives us, after those probes actually generate, that'll give us a lot of explorative ability. Also, we can see here that this is a minor faction, so let us send the incubator in a different direction. Oh, and we're on the plus science constellation as well. Yeah, let's try this way. That's weird. Do you have less vision when you're parked at a system than you do when you're on a star lane? Like, why did moving this way reveal a thing in the other direction? It's very strange. So, we've discovered a minor fact... Alright, well, the game is trying to feed us a very, very efficient victory here, and I think we should take it. Let's make friends. Let's be pals, shall we? Definitely get off-world agribusiness rolling. How many other players know this one? This one is one that a bunch of empires start with, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but I think we definitely want to be able to spend influence on those guys. They also have, oh man, one whole single curiosity. Well, we'll deal with it. We'll get there. And after we pick up off-world agribusiness, we're definitely going to want to go to xenolinguistics because the Mega Indie Consultancy is an even better version of this building that is so good that you should build it on literally every system. Because this one gives plus 10 industry per cold planet as well as temperate planets. I gotta say, this feels like a start. This feels strong. So we're actually going to delay searching this curiosity. I'm going to go this way first. Because I want to talk to them and praise them the first time before we do that. Is that... Okay, it's Sahar. I was going to say, if this is Auriga, then we have had actually every good thing that can happen. So we found Sahar, a medium arid world that is extremely good for production. Jeez, look at that. Okay. Arid worlds. How does one colonize an arid world? Also, how does one spell arid? Well, it turns out PEV scale accelerators is going to be pretty important for us this game. I still think we want to get all this stuff first, though. Nothing to actually explore here, though. And over here, we have discovered a system with a bunch of curiosities and also habitable worlds. This is working out. 848354. So I think we want to go down in the forest. The overall yield of Scorpius 5 is pretty great. It is only 1 point of industry less. And it has Hyperion and a subterranean curiosity. This also has a subterranean curiosity, though. So 8443 versus 8345. This has room for 8 people, or 8 population units on it. So does this. No, the Terran world is probably the right way to go. We can deal with the 1 point of industry that we're losing, but the rest of those yields are a little bit better. And in particular, of course, the science does matter. So we're straining our initial colony food supplies a little bit here, but I think a very quick expansion on Scorpius is going to give us a lot of power, especially since this system has a world on it that can produce a lot of industry. So I think what we might do here is explore the curiosity at Mintaka, then send a probe down here, and then just bounce and go to Scorpius, rather than heading down this space lane, because that's a lot of XP for our hero available there. I do think we're going to pull our hero to serve as a governor. Obviously, this is pretty good, and he's a counselor, which means he gets access to Blue Sky Speculator and Public Relations Expert, in addition to, as you might imagine, the science bonuses of being a Sophon. He will make a fine, fine governor. So our population hasn't changed yet, which means also that the incentive for our laws has not changed. I think we're going to keep the Cram Exam Act running for quite some time. We will want to remove it probably as soon as it is costing us a tier of happiness. Right now, without it, we'd be at 59%. So it's still, I think, not worth taking off. If this creeps up a little bit more, though, it may well be. Alright, so we finished the law. We can pop in here and praise them. And then if we did cut that law, we'd be able to drop more praise on them pretty soon. I think we're fine. Let's search this now. We discovered 25 influence and also a permanent monsoon. So now the cost of praising them is a little bit higher, but you know, we'll go ahead and do this next turn, thanks to the fact that we found a bunch of influence for free. Send a probe off down this way, and then actually head the fleet over in this direction, because man, first of all, we got to reveal all the stuff so that we can make use of it, and secondly, that's a lot of XP for our hero. And once we've picked up these first couple of very important technologies, wow, that is a distance. You know, I'm glad we started going this way. Once we picked up our first couple of technologies here, we can talk about all of the other very important stuff we're going to do, like figuring out how to get behemoths. So we've been, our first part of our faction quest here. Running an empire is a large, complex, time-consuming operation. This has been an inconvenient truth since the dawn of Sophonity. One of the few drawbacks to living in a civilization as cosmopolitan, prosperous, and brilliant as ours. One always finds oneself straining for the next yawn-inducing thing. People to meet, things to do, star systems to conquer. It's enough to make one hang up one's hoverboard. One solution to this problem was posed by R.R. Naedim, the proctor of future research at Roab University. Why not get some of the stupider peoples to do it? Surely there's a sub-Sophon somewhere who actually enjoys this endless drudgery. But the extensive and immediate ridicule she received was sufficient to change her tune. Why not, she then proposed acerbically, just get an AI to do it then? The genius of this idea could not be understated. The movement gained immediate traction in the High Caucasus. Budgets were allocated, the finest minds assigned to the project, and in a matter of months, the Enhanced Neuroflexibility Entity Research Project was launched. Now, just a few short years later, we are ready for the final touches. Tighten the bolts and raise your receptacles, Sophons. With Enfer, finally, a golden age is upon us. So we could teach Enfer about militarization. Winning 3 battles with Sophon fleets is maybe not the thing that's going to happen the fastest for us. The benefit it gives us is a reduction in ship cost forever, which is pretty powerful. We could orbit around 2 systems in a different constellation here, which will unlock for us a support module that gives movement points and vision and a very small health bonus. I think this reward is basically valueless, like... You only move as fast as the first level Hyperion engines with this thing. The health bonus is so small that it's completely negligible. Yeah, like this is an easy goal to complete, but I think this reward is terrible. Or we could teach Enfer about socialization. We could raise our relationship with a minor civilization to 90 or higher, and get a reduction in the cost of praise actions and bribe actions. This might actually be valuable. This is also pretty easy to do. Also, I'm a little wary about doing anything that's going to raise militarist political opinion in a game where we're going to be fighting pirates a lot. We keep the militarists out of the Senate for as long as we possibly can. Yeah, let's go this way. Let's produce a little pacifist opinion. Sometimes the lesser races get offended so easily. But with Enfer's infallible linguistic AI, the stresses of interspecies friendship will be a thing of the past. Teach Enfer, the newly constructed AI, how to talk to strangers. This should be a thing that's fairly easy to do, although I'm not going to stress about doing it with the Diuvians. If we can get them assimilated without getting them to 90 approval, I think we definitely do that. And we can work this out later. But we want these guys on side at the very moment we can get them, because that reduction in the cost of research is really tremendous. Okay, we still don't quite have the resources to run any of these things. I guess we could double the food coming in the ships instead of spending our influence on the Diuvians. But I think we should spend our influence on the Diuvians. this would totally be a good way to spend our first 150 dust as well. Alright, so how many probes do we have? We have 6 probes right now, which is enough to clear all of this stuff out, which is pretty great. Okay, well, it looks like we put down on the right planet. And those were all... Oh no, they were not all resources. So we discovered this long season anomaly, got 5 XP on ships. Okay, we got some okay stuff there. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was kind of hoping for dust. So we didn't spend this guy's skill point last time, and I think that's the thing I should start doing. I should start holding off until we're actually about to reassign. Just in case, you know, the plan changes. But I think in this case, since we're going to move you over in 3 turns anyway, it's looking like nothing crazy is going to happen here. We are going to put Mega Indie Consultancy ahead of Cerebral Reality. This is really, really important for us. And after we get this, we should probably pull Heka 3 right away. Well, might be better to build public-private partnerships first. I don't know. We'll worry about that in a minute. Let's go ahead and spend the skill points on our hero. So this is just going to be... Okay. 10 science on the system plus 2 per hero level. I think we're actually going to go for Optimal Operations Expert first, even though this is a relatively small bonus right now. We really, really need industry on that home system. And we'll get this with the next 2 points anyway. Yeah. We're already researching buildings faster than we can build them. The benefit of additional science is... it's certainly not 0, but it's slowly falling until we can actually catch up to all of the research. And then once we have PEF scale accelerators... Oh, hey, it's another player. It's also Psychagogia. Did they put down... They put down on Psychagogia. So this is going to be a problem because that planet has, as one of the unique planets, it has a considerable amount of influence output. Let's go over there and search that last curiosity. That'll be the last thing our hero does before we pop him back into governor mode. What I was going to say there is that once we have the ability to inhabit Sahar, we're going to have to make sure that the colony on Scorpius gets finished up so that we can make a new colony ship and send it out here. We're definitely dampening the growth of Heka pretty badly, but having 3 systems growing in tandem, I think, will be pretty powerful. Once that's actually an option. I'm hoping that we hit a bunch of dust here. We've met the Hisho. Oh, they found Psychagogia right away this game. And we're going to have to fight them. That is a shame. So we can actually see a mining probe over here. That means probably this is their system, right? They probably have their economic behemoth over there hanging out. And you need 1 more turn until we can reassign you. I think this has been a productive period for this hero, though. And we're going to pop back in here just in time to get some XP for helping finish a couple of buildings off. We are still positive on food, even with the colony ships coming out. How many turns are we looking at on this? 11 if we don't boost it. That being the case, we probably shouldn't boost it, right? And then the quest for this stuff. So as a group, we have to unlock 22 technologies from the military quadrant, and then we will be able to begin researching behemoths. So let's talk about this. First of all, my omniscience bonus should be pretty high. I bet there weren't too many people with that. I should have checked first. Should have checked before we researched it, or while we were researching it. We do want access to the behemoth blueprints, but I guess we already have access to the behemoth blueprints. What we probably should pick up now is planetary landscaping. We don't need this tech to move up, but I do think it's pretty valuable. Sustainable farms are more valuable for us than they are for a lot of factions because we already prefer cold worlds. They're a little bit less good if you're focused mostly on temperate. This is a pretty heavily researched technology, though. We could just go to botanical scanning. Yeah, our version of the greenhouse tech is actually pretty good. +2 food per citizen on cold. And this is a full omniscience bonus. Yeah, let's do that. Only 4 turns. It helps us move up to the next tier. The other tech we grab for this could be Xenology for the Spin project, or it could be just Behemoth Blueprints. Or no, I mean, we're going to have to get Efficient Shielding. But we don't necessarily have to get Efficient Shielding right this second. Let's get an incubator in here. We're going to be stretched a little thin on food for a little while. I think it's going to be okay. And I'm actually going to have this guy just sit and generate probes for a minute until these 2 probes reach the end of their lines. Okay, so Artemis is not their home system. They will probably shoot at us with their behemoth. I'm guessing it doesn't have great combat stats, but our ship has even worse ones. And also, we don't have 5 digits of health. So their home system is actually over here. We can see that. So I guess we'll go this way. What is Sahar's food output? Doubling the food output is not actually going to be super great. It feels a little wasteful to just double the food output of this system long enough for it to pull like 2 turns off of the colony timer. But it also the dust boost on the Dorado settlement isn't actually going to be very effective. So I'm wondering if we should still spend the 150 dust here. We could use it to rush stuff on the home system instead. Ooh, okay. Well, this is promising. Do we have both of our probes? We only have 1. Subterranean, subterranean, subterranean. Alright, well. We'll leave the atmospheric one alone for now. In case the Academy quest pops while we're over here. Got ourselves a little Hyperium. We do need to pick up the Hyperium mining tech as well, since we already have a Hyperium world over here on Scorpius. And you know what? I said we didn't necessarily need to get efficient shielding now, but maybe we should, because of the fact that the Hisho are right next to us. We should probably be able to fight. Although, we could skip it entirely. Right, what if we just went to mediums? Because, of course, we have the Oracle of Science as our law here, which lets us research stuff from the next tier of the tree. What if I just picked up Applied Cryogenics? Well, I guess we shouldn't do it right this second. But like maybe we skip efficient shielding and just go straight to mediums. At some point we need to pick up eukaryotic sap, because that's just a significant amount of approval for free. But I'm thinking it maybe makes sense to get plasma metallurgy next. This building is going to be a considerable amount of industry for our second system. And of course, we're already on the Hyperium source. We may as well be getting the value. How many turns off from these guys being at 50 are we? Not too many. Hopefully they'll give us a nice easy quest. If we can get to 4 systems pretty quickly here. Oh, thinking about brood shipping. Okay, honestly, that's not even a bad thing for us, because now we can do this and steal food from them. They're doing it to us as well, but we are far more established, and we put down on a higher food planet than they did, apparently. That shouldn't be the case. These were the same amount of food. Is it because our outpost is more built up? Remember, though, that they can drop a bunch of K on the planet to claim it instantly. Each one of the food ships that arrives is going to be 2 turns worth of food off, or 2 turns off of time off the settle timer. So we're already looking at only actually 4 turns, but that makes me nervous. Even so, I'm going to hold my probe over here because at the Academy quest should pop at any moment now, and I want to be able to search that atmospheric curiosity the moment that it does. Yeah, I'm a little worried about this. We'll see what their KE spending is like. Hopefully they will not buy this out before we finish it. Any minute now. Any minute now with this Academy quest.
We can be trusted to act as you think we will. You cannot.
Wait, did he just say I cannot be trusted to act as I think I will? I mean, I guess as the Sophons, that's truer than it would be of any other faction. Let's try this. Let's see if they'll just buzz off.
I'd assume this is another dishonorable proposal.
Okay, they refused. Not a big surprise there. We're just going to increase our pressure right back on them. Doesn't much matter. So I'm debating whether it makes sense to wait before putting down the Dorado colony. It won't affect the Scorpius colony at all. What it will affect is Heka's food growth. We'll go slightly negative for a little while. It's probably not a big deal. And then what do we want queued up next? We probably want the greenhouses. Science is important, but growth is also very important. The supermarket is both of those things, however. And we can get that done a little bit quicker. Yeah, let's just put this. Let's put this down. Let's go. The home system's growth will, excuse me. Home system's growth will recover. How negative is it right now? Only negative 16, so we're not going to lose a point of population or anything. We're just slowing down our growth. Okay, in this turn we can go ahead and search something because we're going to generate a probe on the next turn anyway. We have so much dark glitter. Just absolutely no use for it. That is a food ship that is not going to arrive in time. I wish we had a little bit more manual control over these, because, right, like, I should be able to tell this food ship to go to Dorado. You know what? It actually is going to take 1 turn off of this, because that food ship will arrive next turn. Although, they usually arrive and then sit in the system for 1 turn before delivering their food, so maybe he won't accelerate this at all. Right, yeah, because he's just going to hang here. But this would have completed next turn either way. Well, it looks like they're not buying it out. So that's a big win for us. Here we can explore this other curiosity. Because again, we're going to generate the probe right at the beginning of next turn. Okay, I think this is going very, very well for us. And we're going to be able to get a quest from these guys next turn. Okay, so now we have this. Let's talk about broad strategy. Obviously, it would be good to pick up science stuff in general. Home and Hearth program's got to be right. We're going to push up the science tier a little bit more. What I'm really thinking is that we need access to graviton research and wave function control. The research labs and the laboratories are really, really important. And hopefully the other players are going to unlock the behemoths for us. I think that's pretty much what we're reliant on here. Okay, yeah, we just have absolutely no use for dark glitter. That was actually really nice of them to come over here and start building on Scorpius 3 for us. Or Scorpius 2, sorry. I put down on 4, they put down on 2. Alright, so that makes Mega Indie Consultancy much better here than it was going to be. And actually, we may as well move you over to Scorpius 2. It's a little bit higher value. Man, I can't wait until we can actually start growing population on Heka. So they're trying to put down on Carius. We could go into guard mode here to blockade this and possibly starve the outpost. But doing that means that they're definitely going to go to war with us in a way that I'm not super comfortable with. So maybe let's not do that. It would be cool if we had a little bit of time before the fighting started. It is inevitable.
Feel free to anger us.
But we should probably try to make it happen as late as possible. Oh, now it's 70 dust. It was 35 dust last turn. Alright, reach 4 population, excluding your main population inhabitants. This is not ideal. This is actually going to be kind of a tricky one for us unless we get lucky. You know, some of those events that pop early population points out that show up. Ah, and here we are. Backtrack the paths of heroes by exploring atmospheric curiosities. Why, I thought you'd never ask. We discovered... Okay. Well, I'm glad it's not my system. And then I think I'm going to hang here one more turn, regenerate another probe, I'm going to shoot it off at the Hisho homeworld, and then we're going to head past Mintaka and see what's on the other side. How are we doing on settling Dorado? Actually, not that long from now. 2 turns off of this every time a food ship arrives. The food ships are getting there pretty quickly. Yeah, and this video is going to run a little bit long, but I think the settling of Dorado will be a good stopping point. Oh, also we should be doing research. Fair enough. So we want one more thing so that we can unlock this new engine, and of course, more curiosities. Baryonic shielding is a good way to go. Our expedition power up is pretty valuable. Machine bacteria would give us the ability to colonize steppe worlds, which we could use. This is not actually even a good world. And we have a lot of growth potential here still. And what's the world? The world here is a gas world, so we don't need to worry about that one. Yeah, let's go baryonic shielding. Get ourselves into the next science tier. This is a pretty popular tech, apparently, but nobody has evaporation inhibitors, which is probably going to be the next play. We don't really need to be able to colonize deserts. I do like Endless Secrets a lot, but no, the next place should probably be Graviton Research, right? Graviton Shielded Laboratories is too good to not beeline. Alright, and like I said, hopefully the Hisho will be chill long enough. We just need them to not attack us for a little while, until I can generate a really good technological advantage over them, and crush them with inferior troops but superior weapons. So we don't really have the ability to prioritize the growth of our pilgrims or anything. Like, this is just a bad quest for us that we can't really do much about. What we can do is lay on the praise and get this thing finished, since apparently they're not going to come along quietly. And we are not the first to control 4 star systems in the same constellation, but we did give that an actual shot. We went much harder on that than we ordinarily would. I could tell them to keep their ships out of my territory, but I don't think we need to do that. This scout ship is not really harming us, and like I said, I don't want to rile them any more than I have to. I'm hoping that what we're going to find when the probe hits here is that there are other star lanes out of this system, because if we've bottlenecked them off in the corner here, then border friction is going to mean that the war is closer than I would like. What was the cost of the next praise on these guys? 70? As it is, we are generating enough approval that we will get to 90, but it would be cool if we got there a little faster. We could have jumped ahead to Graviton research earlier. Okay, good. They have other directions to worry about. We don't necessarily have to fight them right away. Actually, apparently you should stop on Heka. So, oh, actually, we finished our supermarket. So now we're at 73%. So actually, this is still not dropping us an approval level. Here we would be happy instead of content. But I think one system moving up a level is probably not worth the science loss. We're only getting 12 from it at this point, so it's a much smaller percentage of our overall science. It's not affecting our Empire science level, although at 70% we are not, in fact, content. No, we're fine. We're fine. We don't need to cancel it yet. So we're definitely going to throw our official support behind a non-scientist party. The scientists are going to stay in charge. They don't need our help. But we don't need the religious party, for sure. I would prefer the pacifists get in power, but I'm thinking that throwing our support behind them may not matter enough. Like, we may end up with the religious if we do that. If we support the ecologists, we might end up scientist-ecologist, which is better than scientist-religious for our purposes. But the pacifists, there are some really good pacifist laws. Eventually, like, My Precious and the Fair Trade Deal are really, really good, and you can't get to the Fair Trade Bill without having the pacifists in charge for or in the government at least, for quite a long time. Also, the polling values are not necessarily valid. There's definitely some wiggle in them. And we did take that quest that gave pacifist political value, so let's try this. 211, okay. Oh, that's right, we have a three-party government. Industrialist, scientist, pacifist is actually, like, really good. That is a fine, fine government type. I forgot we were a democracy. I kind of would like to change to republic at some point, just because I really, really like the intensified law effects, but we may have to hold off on that. It's a lot of influence. Alright, so we're looking at 6 turns, which is going to be reduced by 2 turns by the arrival of that ship, so we're very close on this one. Then we've got to find some other constellations as well. I think I am going to go ahead and raise them. Our other praise effects ended faster than I thought they were going to. Apparently it was not keeping track of the turn timer very well. Alright, so what have we found here? That our starting system has antimatter in it. That's pretty good. A lot of things about our start here have been quite lucky. So, do we want to shoot the probe off just kind of out into space and hope? Or do we want to head down this way with probes saved up? We're talking about 4 turns of travel. 4 turns is enough to regenerate both probes. So I think we're going to just kind of pick a direction. There's a lot of disk out here. There's a lot of room for there to be stuff. And let's see what else we can find. And then here, interplanetary transport network is obviously not super valuable, but if we picked this planet up, we could just move all of our population over and then get interplanetary transport network, and that would be pretty good. We also still don't have public-private partnerships, but I kind of like this. Like, let's just like pick up and move the whole civilization over a planet. And then we'll go ahead and queue that up. We do want to actually get our science rolling. It'll help once we're producing population as well, once we're no longer feeding it all into off-world colonies. But on the whole here, I think that we're doing very well, unless the Hisho attack us in the next, like, 10 turns. And even if they do, I doubt they actually have the machinery to take a world. We will be defended by the fact that it's just not simple to conquer stuff in the early game. Okay, apparently 5 players tied at 1 atmospheric curiosity each, so that's a bunch of free stuff for us, which is pretty handy. This part of the Academy quest I'm a little bit less interested in. We don't have the ships necessary to do a bunch of scouting.
It gives me pleasure to force this down your throat.
Wow, gross line read, dude. Okay, so they have increased their pressure on us. That doesn't matter. Yeah, that doesn't matter. They're trying to create a situation here where they can make a diplomatic demand on us, but we're talking about a lot of pressure before that becomes a viable option. Alright, there's a ship in the air, so Dorado's gonna flip over in a turn or two here. Mintaka is coming along. Our faction quest is moving along with it. We're probably going to have to capture Mintaka by other means, or get lucky and meet another minor faction. Looks like there's a pirate node at the end of that road. These are still just scout ships. We haven't seen any warships from them. Building our supermarkets. Here we're just happy. Move everybody over. This is just a better world. So at this point, cutting this law would push that system to ecstatic, which is pretty high value. Yeah, the extra food growth is definitely worth it, and the amount of science we were getting out of it is it's not negligible, but it's good to have it back. So we should turn on the new colony rule, just for a couple of turns here, because when our new population, or when our new system pops, we'll get a 25 approval boost, which probably will throw our whole empire into ecstatic. And for 10 turns, keep Scorpius clear of enemy ship to get a bunch of stuff. That's not going to happen, because this ship is going to head back home. That's fine. We don't need the Hyperion. We actually have tons and tons of resources already. So let us see what is beyond the pirate base. Nothing. Nothing is beyond the pirate base. Well, we're going to turn around immediately because they are not guarding it, so we will be allowed to just leave. If we can attract some new population, we'll get some more influence, which is cool. We're going to need to come back up here and fire off a bunch of probes, try to find another constellation. And we managed to get ourselves a pretty cool planet. Man, 12 industry. Look at how much industry is on this planet. We definitely want to... we want a food focus, but we don't really have the option of food focusing here. Ultra greenhouses is a little bit weak. The system will never have a lot of population. Well, I guess we can key in the drone networks and then worry about other stuff later. We have gained control over the constellation, so even more science. We're already at 280 science per turn. We're about to get Graviton research and build ourselves a bunch of laboratories. Home system actually has 4 population now and has reasonable food income. Yeah, this is really coming along. We might want to pursue a wonder. I know these take a while to build, but we're rapidly gaining industry. This is going to help a lot. And man, it sure would be cool to have some of these. And yep, we are ecstatic almost everywhere, devoted overall, so 30% extra science. This is a strong, strong start. We have a lot of percentage multipliers to a science value that's about to get a big static bonus, and those things are going to combine into one hell of a research rate. All right, well, that is where we're going to stop here for today. Almost like a full episode worth of Sophons after that other victory cleaned up. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time. We are going to... the race is on, right? We're just going to keep making those numbers go up. I'm hoping that we're not going to see too much extra time before the science victory compared to pre-patch. We'll see you then.